A very good evening and welcome to our Tuesday edition of Primetime News. And for the next 20 minutes, I will be your anchor for tonight. I'm Selima Shumwefeleni Masipa. Leading tonight's bulletin, Police Deputy Inspector General for Operations, Elias Mutota, has emphasized that police visibility will be a top priority during the upcoming 2023 Namibia population and housing census period. Mutota has also issued an appeal to the public to cooperate with enumerators across the country during the census period. Additionally, he warned potential criminals to be cautious as law enforcement will be vigilant. Speaking at a press briefing held in the capital earlier today, Mutota expressed concerns about the potential for increased criminal activities during this time. Let's listen in for more details.
So as per the Namibian Police Force mandate, the police is obliged to provide safety and security and maintenance of law and order during the census. Therefore, I'm appealing to all the members of the public to cooperate and render the census enumerators the necessary assistance during this period. Many people become victims of criminal activity as a result of some criminal who impersonate or pretend to be census enumerators or police officers. This is a period where many people are vulnerable to becoming victims of criminal activities, and most of this criminal activity can be prevented if people pay careful attention to their surroundings and take active precautions to prevent different crime of recurring. The Namibian Police Force, together with other partners and stakeholders and security, will carry out robust policing operation countrywide, and these operation interventions are aimed at providing safety and security to the members of the public and national census and to enumerate officials. Therefore, we as citizens must protect our properties, be vigilant, and always scan the environment around us in whatever we do.
Still on census, Namibia's Statistician General Alex Shimwafeni has urged the public to mark their calendars for September 24th, this coming Sunday, as it has been designated as the census reference night for the 2023 population and housing census in Namibia. Shimwafeni made this announcement during a press conference held in the capital earlier today, emphasizing that the Census Reference Night serves as the pivotal point for all census inquiries. Let's have a listen.
So at 12 o'clock at midnight, our field workers go out and they count, because we say everyone must be counted, we count the homeless people and the street kids. And Major General, this is where we also need the assistance of the force to, I'm sure the force knows where some of these people, or most of these people, or if not all of them, live, under the bridges and so on. And then also people who are traveling that night will also be counted. And then people in police cells, people in institutions like hospitals, hotels, they will also be counted that time. And then thereafter, we are going on to move to the households. And the period that is set aside is 2 weeks from the 25th, the morning of 25th, up to the 6th of October. That's when we are doing, and then why it's a very short period is because we want people to remember who slept in your house during that night. So we say, remember the CRN, the census reference night, who are the members of the household who slept there. Now the reason why it's important to remember that, we all know that sometimes we have households maybe in the city center, we have maybe households in the villages. Now we don't want to be counted, or in the farm or so, we don't want to be counted twice.
Now, residents in Kunene, especially young people, are grappling with mental health issues, and the region faces significant resource shortages to establish an efficient mental health strategy. Instead, it largely relies on the services of the Oshakati Intermediate Hospital. This information was shared by Daniel Kaveta, a community liaison officer in the Department of Disability Affairs at the Ministry of Gender Equality, Poverty Eradication and Social Welfare during an interview with the Namibia Press Agency on Monday. Wakutura Kambekwa has more on this report.
Kaveta stated that even though the region is making every effort to provide for mental patients, including counseling, there are still not enough facilities to handle the rising population in need of help. According to him, the Oshakati Intermediate Hospital, which now accepts 2,000 inpatients and cares for 15,000 outpatients in its mental department each year, is under immense pressure as a result of the situation at other Kunene healthcare facilities. There are 140 beds in total at the Oshakati ward, housing 58 females and 82 male patients, he said, stressing that more family members and guardians are now registering mental patients owing to the ministry's various community engagement initiatives, as opposed to the past when they used to keep them in captivity and bondage out of fear of being stigmatized. Meanwhile, during a media conference here last week, Kaveta said traditional drinks like okanjembo and excessive drug usage among young people are two major contributors to the region's mental health issues. Reporting for Primetime News, Ishmael Mukvonda.
The Electoral Commission of Namibia ECN in the Kavango West region is conducting visits to all 8 constituencies to identify appropriate locations for setting up registration and polling venues for the upcoming presidential and National Assembly elections next year. ECN Regional Voter Education Officer Petrus Malengi shared this information with the Namibia Press Agency on Monday, highlighting that the initiative commenced in August with 3 constituencies, Nhuni, Ngamagoro and Kapako, already assessed.
Electoral Commission of Namibia Regional Voter Education Officer Petrus Malengi told Namba on Monday that the exercise started in August, in which they completed 3 constituencies. No extra staff has been employed as the exercise is being done by the Electoral Commission of Namibia's regional staff members, Malengi said. The second phase started on 10 September and will run until 24 September 2023. Malengi said the process of identifying suitable polling stations is informed by various factors such as locality, topographic features, population sizes, population density, vastness, as well as distance and accessibility. Malengi said he will provide the total number of polling stations identified at a later stage. Reporting for Primetime News, Ishmael Mukvonda.
Stay tuned for the business segment. Welcome to the Primetime Biz segment, your hub for local and continental business news. We begin with news from our neighboring country, South Africa. The South African government released cost containment measures on Monday to address fiscal challenges. The National Treasury cited a significant drop in tax revenue collection and tighter financial conditions as key factors affecting the government's fiscal position. Now let's dive into the details of this report.
The National Treasury declared in the guidelines that South African government is facing fiscal challenges. On 31 August, the National Treasury wrote to government departments about the need to reduce spending as it sought to balance its budgetary condition, blaming the state's wage deal reached in March and declining revenue collection. It also urged the national and provincial governments to reduce expenditure on hiring, travel and infrastructure projects, as well as refrain from spending money on event catering. According to the National Treasury guidelines, the wage deal the state agreed to in March was not budgeted for the current fiscal year. Therefore, it was required to implement the guidelines. Kumputso Shaveni, the minister in the presidency, however, expressed hope on Thursday that the rules will not have an impact on the provision of services. Authorized travel will be allowed for the delivery of important services. Reporting for Primetime News, Diana Kauta.
Turning our focus to Europe's economy. In August, Eurozone inflation experienced a slight deceleration, with the rate coming in at 5.2%, down from July's 5.3%, as reported by Eurostat, the bloc statistics agency. Now let's delve deeper into the details of this report.
Initially, the rate was seen unchanged at 5.3%. However, core inflation that excludes energy, food, alcohol and tobacco was confirmed at 5.3%. The core rate is from 5.5% in July. Among components of the harmonized index of consumer prices, energy prices dropped for the fourth straight month. Prices decreased 3.3%, slower than July's 6.1% fall. Food, alcohol and tobacco prices climbed 9.7% after a 10.8% rise. Similarly, growth in non-energy industrial goods prices weakened to 4.7% from 5.0%. Services cost was up to 5.5%, which was weaker than July's 5.6% increase. Reporting for Primetime News, Diana Kauta.
For tomorrow's comprehensive weather forecast across the nation, let's now shift our focus to the weather report. Welcome to Sport Planet, your go-to segment for all sporting action. Leading the segment, the Namibia Football Association has suspended its head of finance, administration and information technology just 2 months ahead of its scheduled 32nd Ordinary Congress. The Congress is set for November 18, 2023 at the Nampower Convention Center and will be an elective one responsible for appointing new officials to oversee football affairs in the country. For the past 2 years, the FIFA Normalization Committee has been in charge of football matters in Namibia. On to Champions League football. Manchester United manager Erik ten Hag is starting to feel the heat from frustrated fans of the Red Devils after a disastrous start to the season has left hopes of Premier League glory already looking forlorn. For the first time in the Premier League era, United have lost 3 of their opening 5 games and faced a daunting task to open their Champions League campaign away to Bayern Munich on Wednesday. Ten Hag has been sheltered from criticism in the early weeks of their campaign as supporters concentrated their anger towards a series of off-field issues. Despite the fans' desire to see them gone, the Glazer family appear to have put a process to sell the club on hold. Stay tuned for your sports roundup. This concludes our broadcast for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Before we part ways, we'd like to remind you to join the larger Nampa TV community by following the on-screen prompts to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to like and share our content and feel free to interact with us in the comment section. Your engagement helps us improve. From myself, Namasipa, and our dedicated production crew behind the scenes, it's good night.